I'm Jessica Rhymes. This is Rhymes Reimagined, and today we are going to work on my Christmas wall feature. I don't have any other name for it, but a wall feature that's going to go in my dining room above my buffet. So I laid all the elements out the way that I want it. I strongly recommend laying everything out before you actually start attaching anything. This gives you a good visual of what you want the finished product to look like, and then you can start removing and attaching items once you've laid everything out. I also recommend taking a picture of it. I'm recording it. I recorded a few takes earlier, so I know exactly what it's supposed to look like before I start tying anything down. So I'm gonna take apart as I talk so you can see what elements I've included, and then I'm gonna start actually attaching the remaining pieces. So here I have some pine branches. They have some pine cones on them. I got these from Joann's. I wanted real greenery, but I just didn't want it to die before we got too close to Christmas, so I just bought faux greenery. And then I actually had a big piece of greenery that I also cut apart to make all the greenery that's included on the wreaths, and then I attached some on this piece of pine as well. So I did that for both of those. And then in order to attach it, I used some of the wire jute. I really like this stuff because it looks, you know, like it belongs with nature. So I like that. I added that, and I'm going to use that to attach the pieces to the actual branch. And then I also have, if you hear some noise, it's my dog playing in the other room. I also have some dried eucalyptus. At this point, you should know that I love dried eucalyptus. I always have it around, which is nice because then I can include it in some of my Christmas decorations because I think it looks great around Christmas time. So I'm just gonna move that up so I don't forget where it goes on here. So I'm gonna move that up. And then underneath, everything's gonna be attached to is a birch branch. This is actually, it was an alley find by my aunt. She found quite a few of them, so I decided that I'd take some and use it for some DIYs. And then I attached some lights. This is just it's 50 lights. It's 12 and a half feet. I love lights on everything, so I left some on the end because that's what I'll need to use to plug it to the outlet underneath or behind the buffet. And I think I'm gonna tie the other end back into itself. And then the wreath part at the bottom that I made, these are actually macrame. I did not do a tutorial for this because I did it quite some time ago, but I will link a video that I saw that can show you exactly how to do this. This was like probably one of the first things that I ever macrameed. So I was not very good when I did this, so it probably wouldn't have been worth it for you to see me do that anyway, but I will link some videos of how to macrame below. And these are just, I did 3 different knots. I don't know the name of the knots. I'm not a macrame expert, but I will link the videos for you to watch. These are actually embroidery hoops. I use the inside of the embroidery hoops to make these. I love using embroidery hoops for like wreaths and things like that. So I used that to make each one of these. It was 3 different sizes. And this is what I attached. I attached some of those thrifted bells and then just some of the faux greenery from Joann's. And then I tied a string to it. I'm gonna use that to tie it on the branch. So I did the 2 small ones. I'm gonna show you how I attached them with the largest one. I still have this one to attach. So I'm going to use some cotton string. This comes in handy for lots of things. I think because I use some cotton macrame cord, so I'll use that to kind of blend it in a little bit. So I'm gonna use that to tie the greenery on. So I'm gonna cut 2 pieces of that because I have 2 little small pieces of greenery. So I'm just gonna, I already had it laid out. I'm actually going to weave this through the pine, or I don't know what the names of evergreens are, but I'm just gonna weave it through a little bit and tie it from the inside, the back and the inside, so that you can't see the knot from the bottom. This will be hanging pretty high on a wall, so I don't want to see the knots. And you want to tie it really tight so that it doesn't move around. So I'm just gonna make a tight knot. Okay, and then I'll do the same thing with the other side. Okay, and then I'll cut the excess. And the bells actually came with some gold cord. I'm gonna use that to tie it on. I just tie it in the middle and let it hang a little bit. So same thing, you wanna tie it on the inside into a really tight knot. Not too tight. I'm leaving a little room so the bell can hang. Once it's good and tight, cut the excess. Okay, and that's it. I'll actually add some more cotton string to the top, and that's what's gonna attach it to the branch. Take some excess over here. And I'm gonna leave it single stranded, so I'm gonna tie a knot with the ends at the top. So I came up here to give you a little bit of a better angle, probably better light too. So what I'm gonna do, I've tied on the wreaths. Now I'm gonna tie on the eucalyptus. I'm gonna tie them on one at a time. There's four pieces of it. So I'm gonna cut 4 little pieces of the jute wire. Find like an opening towards the top. And then wire it, weave it, and then wire it to the branch. I have to be very careful because I don't want a whole lot of stuff moving around. So I'm just gonna lift it ever so slightly and wire it down from the other side. And twist, just like a twist tie. And then I'm gonna pull it up because I don't want it scratching the wall. Okay, I think that looks good. And then I'll use one more piece. Find a good spot on the branch. I'm going through the lights. And dried eucalyptus is pretty delicate, so be careful not to tear it all up. But it's also pretty, even with a few pieces missing, it still looks fine. So. But still you want to kind of be careful. And then I push the wires in and up a little bit because I don't want it to scratch the wall. And then I'm going to attach the pine branches with the pine cones and the other greenery. Same thing, I want to attach them pretty closely so they look seamless. Sit back. And I actually also want to kind of identify the middle. Should have done that before, but that's okay. So I think I'm gonna use the middle wreath as my middle identifier. But I think I want the pine cones to sit on the top because they're heavy. Well, they add to the weight, so I'm gonna put them at the top of both of them are kind of sitting, I think, at the top. So find a place to weave the jute wire through. And then wire it on. And that's it. Now I need to tie a little string on the end so I can actually attach it to the wall. And I will come back and show you the finished product. Here's the finished product. Overall, I do like it. If you were to do this yourself, I would recommend getting some battery operated fairy lights. That would be a lot lighter, and then you could hide you wouldn't have to find the plug and have the cords hanging on the side. I'm not in love with that, but I just wanted to work with what I had. And I also don't love that the lights are so blue. Most of the lights in my house are pretty warm, but I wanted to, again, work with what I had. So I just used these, and I think it does look really good. But I would definitely recommend going for the fairy lights. And then at the top, I used command hooks. I used 2. I don't think that I don't know the exact weight of it, but I think they'll stay. I used one at the top for the string, and then I also used one in the middle. The branch is basically just sitting on top of that hook, and then I attached the largest wreath to the command hook in the center to help kind of offset some of the weight. If you are able to nail this to the wall, I would definitely recommend it, but I'm a renter and I want to keep my walls intact, so command hooks will have to do. But if you can nail it, that would probably be the safest and best way to go, because right now it's kind of sitting up there on a hope and a prayer. But I do love the way that it turned out. If you don't want to macrame the embroidery hoops, you could use the embroidery hoops plain and just add the greenery to it. I think that would look good as well. But I like the way that I did it. You can come up with a way to make it all your own. But it's just what I needed in my dining room, so it works out perfect for me. Let me know in the comments what you think, and thanks so much for watching.